Going on, everybody? Let me set this up. I'm glad you all are here. And yeah, we're going to, there's going to be a press conference, another update on Summer Wells' search. Let me get that set up here. Sorry, I'm always fighting time, people. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get that ready to go when they go live, and then we're just going to hang out and talk for a few. Right. Okay, it's loading, but all right. Well, I see all the usual folks up in here. It's good to see everyone. Sherry K, Jennifer Green, Louisiana Girl, Mrs. M and R&B, Rockabilly, Tart with a Heart, Giacomo, Deb, Beanserbop. Now, Beanserbop made a comment before this started, and what concerns me about that is that that she's there. Oh, well, I live near the area. Nothing new. But what I'm concerned about right now, and as most of you know already, my biggest concern is the way that social media and YouTubers have been dealing with and treating this family, and I think it's disgusting. And I want to hear them say that they have cleared these parents of any suspicion. They both took polygraph tests, according to them. They both took polygraph conducted by the FBI, and they both passed. But I mean, that's not necessarily, most states, it's a polygraph isn't even admissible in court. It's more of an interrogation tactic. But and I'm not seeing these parents having anything to do with their child's disappearance. Because if all you've got for me is he talks too much about religion, or he had a fight with his wife where it got physical and she got a protective order put on him, but then when it came time for the hearing, she requested that the order be lifted. And it was apparently because he saw another man there or whatever. The only reason I'm talking about this is because everybody else is blasting this guy's police report all over the place and the protective order all over the place. So, I'm not going to get into that. Again, that's a personal family issue. That tells me nothing to indicate that somebody would hurt this child. The only thing is, in the protective order, she said she was scared for her children. Any mother trying to get any wife trying to get a protective order who has kids is going to say that. So that doesn't mean anything. And the protective order has nothing to do with, this guy being physical in any way, shape, or form, or being abusive towards his kids. So to me, that's irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. Sorry. Got to refresh this here because I want to make sure that when it comes on in 5 minutes, okay, those are recent stories. We don't want that. Yeah, I'm not interested in these rumors and speculation, man. I'm just not. This stuff doesn't help locate a missing child. It's irrelevant to locating this missing child. The only purpose digging all this stuff up and putting it out there on your YouTube channels is for you to come off like you're some sort of crime stopper, some sort of crime sleuth, when you're not, especially if you're just a drama channel, especially if every thing that you've done prior has been shady and has been disgusting. It's just sad. DeMarie, thank you so much. Guys, I'm having trouble with my internet here, man. So as usual, maybe I find Facebook. And just so you guys know, just a heads up, Annie is currently putting together a premiere for the Summer Wells case, Annie from 10 to Life. So be on the lookout for that. I will definitely be in that chat moderating it. But apparently a lot of people have been requesting that she do it, and rightfully so, because she's extremely thorough when it comes to these things. All right. So I've got the Channel 5 thing pulled up here, but it doesn't seem like there's anything. Okay, maybe no. See, that's just another video. Now, hold on. So hopefully this thing loads and works, because I'm just gonna have to go back, because the YouTube channel I had pulled up doesn't seem to have anything on it. right. All right. All right. I think we are good, folks. All right. Looks like we're on, folks. It's just really blurry. Like it's still loading, which is not good. Oh, no. Okay. What's up, Crime Story? Yeah. So I'm, I'm looking forward to this because, I mean, the lie detectors, they could be pretty accurate. And if I'm being honest, this couple does not strike me as the type that are criminal masterminds who can beat a lie detector test. So, I mean, I'm just not seeing that. So I'm really hoping that this update is going to clear the parents and everybody can finally shut up. I did see that a neighbor posted a $25,000 reward for information, which yeah, and guys, here we are now. They've actually closed the donation thing because they became overwhelmed with donations. That's how much the community, because it's not all bad. I don't want to come off like, to me it's just YouTube and Facebook that are making this family miserable right now. But I'm pretty grateful that I mean, to the point to where, because they had a donation center to where you could donate water and supplies and whatever they need, and these are all professionals because they were not allowing any civilians to volunteer and help with the search. But hey, Keely Talks, it's good to see you. So they were not letting well, I don't know about that crime time. I don't know how polygraphs work. Anyway, so the because the terrain and the area is just so rural and dangerous. The conditions are dangerous. So many hills and a lot of wildlife. Because this is out in the mountains, people. So this is not. This is going to be. This is a situation where they've got very numerous law enforcement agencies teaming together to search for Summer. But they don't want volunteers, civilian volunteers. Partly, I'm sure, because they don't want any evidence being tampered with, and but mostly because they said they didn't want to end up having to search for other people and have to and risk having to take resources away that are concentrated on the search for summer. So yeah, it's on the side of a mountain. So that makes perfect sense to me. But I wish I could be out there helping. I really do, because I got nothing better to do. So I really wish that I could be out there helping. But the thing is there's just nothing that any of us can do except just keep our eyes open and make sure that we use those tip lines responsibly. And only if you have any credible information leading to the location of Summer, or any information as to what happened to her that is credible, not something you saw on Facebook and then started to overthink from a Facebook post. That's ridiculous. That's not credible. None of that's credible. So when you have ignorant YouTubers who are blasting all these people's personal information out there using the excuse that it's public now. You know what I mean? It's public now. That doesn't, just because something's legal doesn't mean it doesn't make you a jerk. I'm trying not to curse here. It doesn't mean it doesn't make you wrong for sharing it and going over it and twisting it to mean what you want, or twisting it to mean what you think it means. And then you have God knows how many of your viewers who start, and then they're like, oh, I bet that's what happened. I want to be the one to crack the case. And then they call a tip line. And what if somebody's trying to call with a tip, with a credible tip? Well, you're calling there and giving a very unwanted and a very unwanted opinion, because there's no basis of coming from you, because you're nobody. You're nobody. They've got tons of professionals working on this case. They have a ridiculous amount of professionals working on this case. I mean, what makes you think that you're going to solve something without even being there in some corner part of the world, that you're going to solve this case before any of the professionals that are on hand going to do it? And so far, no indication that makes these people look guilty of a crime. Nothing. So how many people do you think are calling and harassing them? And then the mom is scrutinized for making a Facebook post basically saying, hey, leave us alone. You don't know anything about our lives. Well, she needs to stay off social media. What are you, an idiot? I mean, that's your rationale. Why should they have to stay off social media? Why can't you just refrain from being crappy? Why shouldn't they explore the internet to see if there's any leads? Because you're sitting there talking, and these are channels that don't even know what they're talking about. They haven't even, you could tell they haven't looked into the case, because they're saying, well, why aren't they out there searching? Because since the first day that we heard the first press conference, they made it clear why they're not letting anybody search. I have no doubt in my mind that dad would be out there searching. I have no doubt in my mind that mom would be out there searching. And all these people are getting is just judgment. All right, I mean, it's going 10 minutes in. I just hope that this is the right. I mean, it said so. All right, let me. What's up, Black Angus Reviews? Oh, did they postpone it till 4? Crime Time, I could see you. They postponed it to 4. Well, I mean, I guess I'll just hang out here with you guys for the next 50 minutes and then we'll stream it then. All right. So let me do this. Oh, this is the weather. Let's see what the weather's like.
We're sweating so bad.
We're both really hot.
So I don't know if it's hot outside or what's going on. I'm so thrown off.
It's hot everywhere.
Okay.
Our studio is a little warm today, so that would be why. And sweet Amy feels great.
Great.
You like the Miami type weather.
Best day ever in the
If
studio.
you only can see there's a fan just right over there, and we're like standing there.
You'll need a fan outside. You said the heat's going back up today.
And so is dew point.
Yeah.
There you go, Amy. So when you get out of the pool, it's not
Oh,
feel
the
as
power of
chilly
a dew
for you.
point. Let me tell you.
The dew point needs to be recognized more. I tell you what, it is all about the dew point out there, but that is going to be.
I mean, so
temperatures were going up as well, so it's a double doozy when it comes to how things are going to feel heading into the afternoon. This morning, when you step outside, you'll notice it does feel warmer because it is by several degrees. Current temperature right now, we're coming in 64, overlooking Nissan Stadium. Winds are nice and calm. Franklin, just along I-65, are coming in at 64 degrees as well. Remember yesterday, we were in those 50s. Not so much to start off the day. Now, when it comes to the Power 5 radars, we're completely clear. There's some of that ground clutter. I'm not looking at showers to move in as we do go throughout the day, but I do anticipate more clouds to ease in. Not looking at a blanket of cloud cover, but it is going to be some fair weather cumulus clouds on and off as we head throughout the day. A little bit of decoration.
yeah, I heard. I see that it's at 4. Like I said, we're just gonna
our south.
hang out
Even
until
though
then.
they're light, they're mighty this morning, and that's why it does feel so much warmer to start off our day. The coolest spot being over in Cookeville, 59, 61 over in Dixon. You head into Camden, you're at 66. Going over into Fayetteville, 60. Our friends just over into Lawrenceburg, you're coming.
I'm pretty sure that this is this morning's.
Yes, we're warmer than yesterday, but we're actually
it's not 65 degrees here right now. I'm telling you right now, it's not 65 degrees.
You're really going to notice that as we head throughout today. So by 10 o'clock, I look for us to be in the upper 70s to low 80s. We transition into the afternoon.
Yes.
Temperatures will then spike into the mid to upper.
Yeah, so
80s.
she said by 10 a.m.
Degree mark. Elsewhere across the plateau, you'll be in the mid 80s.
And it's now
this
3.
Model is showing some raindrops. That's actually not rain. I'm looking at that dew point moving its
so this
way
is a
up,
replay
and
from this
showing
morning,
more in
guys.
the way of moisture easing its way in. We head our way into tomorrow morning. We're waking up 70s and 80s. Talk about a very spicy start. That's a 20-degree increase from where we were yesterday. As we head throughout tomorrow afternoon, it's going to get a little breezy out there. Temperatures will soar into the upper 80s, low 90s back again, but it's going to feel even warmer than today, even though at a glance, it looks like it should feel the same. Looking to see some rain showers easing in as we head into our Saturday. They will be very spotty. So here's a look over the next 7 days. 90 today, 90 tomorrow. Not the same outcome. It's going to feel warmer tomorrow. We head our way into Saturday morning, 71. By the afternoon, 92. Yet again, it's going to feel warmer. It's going to feel as close to the triple-digit mark. Isolated showers Saturday.
So we're going to have rain Saturday and Sunday. So these are the conditions that that these searchers are dealing with right now. What's up, Mexi? Yeah, so these are the conditions that these searchers are dealing with right now.
We're celebrating July 4th with discounts
Hold on
up to 50% throughout the store. Plus, get 2 years no interest. Save big on the largest.
All right. 1 second, guys. All right, so I'm just going to look over chat for a little bit here. Yeah, this is a heartbreaking case, man, for so many reasons. Because what's really bugging me is that we honestly can't do anything. The only thing that any of us could really do is just keep others updated, and keep our eyes open, wherever we happen to be. If you're in the Tennessee area or any of the surrounding states, I mean, that's all you can do. And it's really, really frustrating when you think about it, because at this point you can't even donate. At this point, they cut off the donation. So, I mean, there's literally nothing productive that anyone can do at this point regarding the search for Summer. And I think that's the most. I mean, it's yeah. And honestly, Mexi's got it. That's really all we can do right now, and we should be doing a lot of it if that's what you believe in. But at least hope, express hope. I believe that there's an energy to that, man, and you put that out in the world, it can make a difference. I do believe that. I know it makes me a little bit of a sentimental, but I have to believe that. It's just something I have to do. Oh my God, this is. I agree, Faith. Without hope, we don't have anything, man. Well, that's the thing, April. It's illogical to even speculate on it because we don't have nearly enough information. I think it's not only illogical, but it's irresponsible. Honestly, because you start speculating and then you start believing your speculations, and then people start calling tip lines with their speculations, and that's disruptive to the investigation. There's everybody involved in this is a professional. I say let the professionals do their jobs. That's all I'm saying. I mean, probably, and everybody in the surrounding area has been urged to search their properties anywhere. I think someone said something to the effect of, search anywhere where a legal notepad would fit. So, they are very serious about this. So, if you live on a remote property or you live in a house that's around there, search that property, search that house, basements. If you've got a barn around there, search the barn. Some people have, talking, you got to check your crawl spaces, anything. And let me read this out loud again. So from Rogersville, Tennessee, Summer Wells. I was trying to think of her middle names. I know it's Utah. Summer Moon Utah Wells. She's age 5, blonde hair, blue eyes, 3 feet tall, 40 pounds. And the last description, when she was last seen, is wearing gray pants and a pink shirt, possibly barefoot. If she's barefoot, and if they think she's barefoot, I find it harder to believe that she wandered off. I'm leaning towards, and I don't know, but I'm leaning more towards the dad and what he thinks, Don. I'm just leaning more towards there because that's what seems to make the most sense right now. But we don't know. We have to be very, very understanding of this, guys. We don't really know anything, and digging into their personal lives does not do anything. You're not doing anything that law enforcement hasn't already thought of. And I love the way that they're handling this investigation. It's frustrating at the same time because, again, we're in a position, those of us who genuinely, truly want to help are in a position to where we really can't. So I'm doing only what I possibly can, which is just reiterate what they've been saying in their press conferences. Right. Peace out. Absolutely. This is very, very upsetting. This is extremely upsetting. Every time there's a missing kid, man, I like, it's like somebody's taken my heart and, and what's funny is it's for the parents. It's for the parents, because I can only imagine what they're feeling right now. I don't want to imagine it. That's not true, Louisiana girl. That's not true. She could be hiding somewhere. It's unlikely, but to say that the only way that she's coming home is if she was abducted, that's not responsible at all. Yeah, man, like April, you're saying, I know I personally think they live a different lifestyle, but they look like genuine people. However, I always say to my boyfriend, you never know who you're sleeping next to. That's true. We follow cases like this all the time. I'm not trying to be unrealistic. We follow cases like this all the time, where someone in the household does something horrible to their child or their spouse. So it's not unrealistic to consider that a possibility, but to jump to a likelihood and create a narrative on a YouTube platform where you have thousands of people listening to it, well, then it's just plain irresponsible, and it's disruptive to the investigation that the efforts are focused on finding this child. and doing so with the intent of finding her alive. Because all it's doing is making these parents who have hope, making them miserable. And you're also insulting them. I mean, I've seen everything from poverty to faith shaming on these people. You know, and somehow making someone's class of status in society makes them capable of murdering their own child. So the narrative is if they're poor white trash, well, I guess they're child murderers. That's what you're implying. Someone who lives in an area that someone who lives in an area that is basically the entire community is run by that church. That church is what brings that entire community together. So it's a very religious area in the Bible Belt in Tennessee, and somehow it's suspicious that this man it speaks of his faith because his faith is that important to him. It makes him suspicious. It makes him crazy. I mean, come on, man. Dude, yeah. My parents had to force me to put shoes on when I was cold out. When it was cold outside, I was oblivious. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I used to get yelled at for going outside without shoes all the time. You know, I mean, talking about, we just saw this little girl in a video dancing in the rain, barefooted, her mom filming it, just totally just expressing gratitude for having a child so pure of heart that she's celebrating life in such a natural and innocent manner with the very little that they have. They don't have a lot. This is a family that believes God will provide. And so what God did was provide some rain for this little girl to dance outside in. And her mom had a phone with a camera on it and captured it, saying how proud she was of her little girl. And this is somehow, I mean, guys, and these are, you know, these channels that are doing this, like, you guys, they've covered these cases before, and it's like they don't pay attention to the details. You know what I mean? Like, what's indicating that a parent might be capable of doing this to their child is when you don't see pictures of the child, you don't see videos put up on social media of the child. You know, you get indication that the child is unwanted. I'm not seeing any indication of that here. Like, and for some reason, the mom is made out to be this. I mean, no different than you. Those of you that are moms out there, they might not have as much money as you do. You know, they might not have made as good decisions as you do, but you're in no position to say how much they love their child and how much they don't. You're in no position to even speculate on. You're in no position to raises their child. Mexi just messaged me asking me if I wanted to join him on a spirit box session. I mean, it couldn't hurt. You know what I mean? It couldn't hurt. because I know his heart's in the right place. This is something he believes in. I mean, yeah, it couldn't hurt. I mean, considering that literally we have nothing that we can do. And if that's what Mexi's got to bring to the table, then I say, yeah, man, go for it. And yes, I would be happy to join you. You know, whether you're skeptical of that sort of thing or not, you know, I get it. But like I said, I don't see how it can hurt. You know, like that's that to me is just, yeah, man, I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to. I mean, you got people, you got creators with just positivity in their hearts. And that's cool to heart with the heart. Yeah. You got creators with positivity in their hearts. And even though you might look at something like that and be like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. You know, well, I mean, you don't have to watch it. It's not like he's taking their personal business and putting it out there for you to pass judgment on these parents. He's looking for answers the way that he knows how, and his channel knows how to, without invading anyone's privacy. And I think that that's commendable. So I support Mexi 100% when it comes to that. Take a look here. And I got a little drama going on in my house. Nothing that involves me, but you know, right. I mean, this is, I mean, and you know, for those of you who are looking at that as some sort of you know, as some sort of disrespect, because it's making some sort of mockery. I don't see it that way in the slightest bit, because law enforcement has been known for decades to use psychic mediums, and they have proven to be quite accurate pretty often, and helpful pretty often. And when we're in a position like this where our hands are tied and we can't really bring much to the table, well, if that's what Mexi brings to the table, then I say bring it. I absolutely say bring it. Hold on. Where did that go? Didn't start with the, there we go. I was trying to highlight that. And yeah, if you see Summer or have any information, please call the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office at 423-272-7121, or the T.B.I. at 1-800-TBI-FIND. And please share that. Share that on your social media. No matter where you are in the country, please share that on your social media. If you're, no matter where you are in the world, if you have American friends on your friends list, on your social media, please share that, so that they see it. Yeah, somebody stole my homie's car. So he's kind of freaking out about that. I mean, yeah. That would freak me out for sure. I mean, when Mexi was at the last investigation that he did, man, that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, I mean that was just wild to me, man. Yeah, for sure, dude. There's bears, man. Like, there's bears. You know, I mean, and she's so small. I mean, there could be wild dogs, people breeding dogs, just letting them go. You know, um, I don't know what kind of, like, if they got like mountain lions or anything like that. Dude, that's insane. That's insane right there. Like, the bears have been horrible this summer, and you live in that area. My mom had one asleep on her deck. Like, can you imagine waking up in the morning, you're about to like go to work or something, and there's a freaking bear passed out on your deck, just chilling, like it's all good? All right. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stream Annie. So, and then because I'm gonna have to moderate that. Oh, my internet is so slow. But I really need to know what Annie thinks of all this. No, hold on. And then we'll listen to Annie for a little while, and then we'll go right to the press conference at 4. Oh yeah, because I forgot. Right. All right, that's taking forever.
Just a tiny little 5-year-old nugget. She was last seen on Tuesday, the 15th of June at approximately 6:30 p.m. And it was said that she was barefoot, wearing a pink shirt and gray pants, and was outside.
Can y'all hear this okay?
On the 100 block of Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek area of Rogersville, Tennessee. I'm sorry also, I apologize if I sound a little stuffy. I'm getting over a cold.
Sorry, I have to moderate the chat and I have to drop links.
cold. So honestly, this case seems to be getting more confusing by the hour with the posts that are happening in the Facebook groups, new details that are emerging about family history. There is a lot going on, and it makes this all the more
No.
complex of a case. Personally, for me, when I first started researching the case and hearing a lot of these details, there were certain parallels that I found with the Orrin and Orson West case, which, if you're not familiar with that, those are the two young boys who went missing in December out of California City, California. So let's try and break it all down and share with me what you guys think as we go along the way in the comment section below. As I mentioned, Summer is a 5-year-old little girl, and she is the daughter of Candace Bly Wells and Donald Wells. And I want to just give you guys a heads up. There are other siblings who were named after the mother, Candace and
I do
Donald,
remember the name Haley
I'm
Dilly,
going to refer to
Harley
them
Dilly,
as
yes.
Senior and Junior when we get there, just to make it a little bit easier to follow. Summer has 3 brothers who she lives with and clearly loves and adores based on the social media posts and all of their interaction. But it's also been said that those same brothers have ignored her a lot, and that they have a little bit of a boy sinister streak and have shot dogs and each other with BB guns, roughhouse. There's also even been some chatter that they have possibly shot Summer with one of these BB guns on accident, but I want to be clear, it has not been proven.
That's a regular Saturday in
Has
West
she, in fact,
Virginia
ever been shot?
in my
So let's
childhood, just by the way.
throw that out there right now, because I know that is something that has been circling a lot of the Facebook groups. As far as a non-family member related sighting, Summer was last seen by a non-family member at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, June 15th. She was seen by a friend of the family as they all went swimming together at a local area called The Hole. The friend was a 15-year-old minor who later told the T.B.I., the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, that he was given an alcoholic beverage by Summer's mom, Candace, called Twisted Tea. And if you know anything about it, it's kind of like a Smirnoff meets, one of these like seltzer drinks that has alcohol in it. But alarming, also under 18, a 15-year-old boy, if this is in fact true. Another thing that stuck out to me is that the brothers didn't participate on this swimming trip. It was just Summer, her mother, reportedly her mother's friend, and that 15-year-old boy, which maybe was innocent enough, maybe the boys were off doing something else, but that stuck out in my mind. Something else that's important to note, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, is that Summer's mom has been very active on TikTok and Facebook, yet she has not given a public statement herself. Summer's father has been the one doing all of the public speaking, and personally, this alarms me, but we're going to talk more about that later. In addition to this non-family friend who had this reported sighting of Summer at 2 p.m. that afternoon, the family had said that they last saw Summer at 6:30 p.m. that evening. It was stated that Summer was in her front yard with her mother and her grandmother. They were gardening, planting succulents, and then Summer decided that she wanted to go in the house and then go in the basement and play with her toys and her dolls while her brothers were also playing in the house. Summer's mom, Candace, ended up going into the house.
It's possible she didn't even know it was alcoholic.
She went down to the basement and said that the door was left open and that Summer was gone. It was reported that Candace then called Don while he was at work to tell him that
they
Summer
seem
was
like
missing.
Budweiser people, not Twisted Tea people. You know what I mean?
That also strikes me as odd because, again, in addition to not speaking out publicly on this case, her mother, Candace, also wasn't the one to call police to notify them that Summer was missing. She first called Don, then John's the one who called the police. There's just something with like this whole chain of events, and it could completely be a coincidence, but there's just something that doesn't sit right with me with that. John has also made it very clear in all of his public statements that he believes Summer was abducted and that she did not walk out that basement door willingly. In addition to that, he has also said that he believes Summer may have been taken by traffickers. That alarms me because, first of all, why would somebody immediately jump to that conclusion or that statement thinking that not only that she was abducted,
lots of reasons,
must have been at the hands of traffickers. But I want to play this statement for you and you tell me what you think.
Yeah, my opinion is maybe some human trafficking ring seen her on Facebook and tracked her down, like some kind of, somebody is taking her out of the area, and I don't know whether
In a moment here, we're going to talk a little bit more about that statement too, because it may tie back to some family history. So just hang tight on that. But I wanted you at least to hear for yourself. So Summer is last seen at approximately 6:30 p.m. Candace calls Dawn, who then calls the police. 11:07 p.m. that evening, the T.B.I. sent out an endangered missing child alert. The following day, the T.B.I. changed that alert from endangered missing to an Amber Alert, which prompted a statewide search. On Thursday, June 19th, the T.B.I. announced that they had 19 different agencies assisting them to locate Summer. Their biggest concern was that the
good point, Nicole Venditti. Very good point.
That it's rough, and so it made it much more difficult to search these areas. The concern was also that
but who knows in this small little area whether or not she got ID'd.
Lost in all of this deep terrain, and again, because of the heat, it makes things that much more challenging. This same day, which was Thursday, June 17th, was
but this doesn't indicate it doesn't indicate that she would do something to her daughter though. And as far as him making comments about a human trafficking ring, he said he saw something about that on Facebook, you know, and he's considering that to be a possibility. Talking about a guy who's just speculating out loud and trying to make sense of why his daughter disappeared. How is that suspicious?
Her home was located. As I slowly start to zoom out, you can absolutely see how much terrain and rural area there is out there. So this search is far and wide. You're not looking at a typical suburban neighborhood. You're not looking at cul-de-sacs and structures. There is a lot of terrain out there, and this search is massive because little Summer could be anywhere. The teams all continued the search effort over the weekend and said that they would only be doing a media briefing if and when there were any key updates or information that needed to be shared with the public. By just this last Sunday on the 20th, there were almost 70 agencies assisting in the search for Summer. They were also even using crews from other states to assist in the search efforts. By this last Sunday afternoon, there were over 137 tips that were submitted, but none have led to the safe return of Summer yet. Just a couple of days ago, on Monday the 21st, the T.B.I. announced that the FBI has joined in the search for little Summer Wells. They also made note that while an abduction absolutely is possible, they do not have any evidence that shows that she was.
I didn't speculate that she got eaten by a bear. I just said that there's bears where around the area where she disappeared. That's all I said. That's a fact. That's not speculation. That's a fact. There's bears.
There is no plan for a public reward to be set up for Summer's safe return, and that maybe they don't believe she will safely return because they think that maybe she possibly wandered off, that they're trying to locate her, to find her. Maybe she's hiding in a neighbor's barn or structure, but they don't believe it was an abduction. Now, in my opinion, there has to be.
They haven't ruled out that it was an abduction.
That has led them to this conclusion. Why the father of this little girl and why law enforcement, now with the FBI even involved, are not seeing eye to eye on what happened to Summer strikes me a little odd, and it feels almost as though that abduction story is being a little bit pushed, but we'll get there too. To me, it also appears that having all of these agencies participate in this search effort, while great, it leads me to believe that it is more of a recovery effort than a rescue effort. The sheriff has asked all residents in the community that Summer lives in to check their properties. They've made it clear that if residents aren't able to search their own properties, that they can call a number and police will come and search for them. Because again, with the terrain being so rough, they are hopeful that little Summer possibly just wandered off and is hiding somewhere, tried to isolate herself away from the terrible heat, and that maybe there's somewhere where she's just scared and looking to be found. Investigators have noted that Summer's parents are in fact cooperating, but they have also said that it is still an open investigation and that nothing has been ruled out. As of 2 days ago,
including
on
an
Tuesday,
abduction,
the T.B.I. stated that they had over 221 leads. In addition to the land, aerial, and water searches, the T.B.I.s shut down the road in the area on Wednesday, just yesterday, asking drivers if they had noticed anything out of the ordinary on the day that Summer went missing. They also are using canine dogs, which unfortunately has not yet again led to the safe return of Summer or successfully locating any sort of path that Summer had taken. Now, I'd like to discuss a little bit of the family history here, and not because it shows any guilt of anyone or because there is some bigger conspiracy, but because I personally believe it's important to understand the environment and the living conditions in which Summer was living so that we can better understand what may or may not have happened to her. Back in October of 2020, just a few months ago, her father, Don, was arrested after a domestic violence incident broke out between him and Candace. Donald was charged with domestic assault, possession of a handgun while intoxicated, and unlawful possession of a weapon. He had a previous felony in Utah, so therefore he is not allowed to own firearms. This all occurred after he came home and found another man with Candace in the house. Candace then filed for a protective order the next day, saying she was scared for herself and scared for her children's safety. Yet 4 days later, she asked for it to be dropped. A little bit of a tumultuous relationship, I would say. Additionally, it's been reported that CPS has been called to this home numerous times before Summer went missing. Looking at some of the photos that have publicly been posted on social media, it's safe to assume that these children do live in a relatively filthy environment. And that's just my personal opinion based on what I'm seeing, and you can, of course, make the decision for yourself. And while living conditions don't always dictate neglect or a deeper-rooted crime, according to a neighbor, CPS did tell the family that they needed to clean the home up and stop posting videos of themselves under the influence. And this is all alleged, I want to make clear. However, this statement is alarming because if it is true, it means that not only is substance abuse happening in the home, but it's happening publicly and proudly and being posted and shared for the public for millions to view. Aligning with this,
well, millions to view now because they're because the whole world is watching this.
Facebook statuses about people calling CPS on the family. Again, just my opinion, but usually a home in unrest with living conditions and with substance abuse taking place publicly is a recipe for disaster. And again, that's just assuming that these allegations are
not a recipe for someone murdering their child or doing something to their child.
To this, which is one of many layers. It's also been said that both of Summer's parents, both Candace and Don, have drug issues, not just Candace. It's been alleged that at one point in the past, Don, Summer's father, even tried to sell his two oldest children for drug money when the children were much younger. Now, remember Don's statement earlier about thinking traffickers may have abducted Summer. If he did, in fact, try to sell his children at one point in the past for drugs or for drug money, this statement becomes an even bigger red flag and possible bigger tell to me. Was he indirectly admitting what may have happened and his role? It got me thinking, but again, nothing has been proven yet at this point, even from those past allegations. So I want to make that clear, but there's something with all of that trafficking again that sticks out to me, because originally when he first spoke out and made that suggestion that I think it was traffickers who abducted my daughter, it's just such an odd thing to suggest. And then to on top of that, hear that there is potentially an alleged past where he tried to do that with his other older children when they were young.
That's a rumor.
It's just not sitting right, guys. There has also been a lot of discussion about Don's older son, who is 34 years old now, and his name is also Don, so we're going to call him Don Jr. He's 34 years old, and he is a convicted sex offender, having pled guilty in Arkansas in 2007 to sexual indecency with a child. Now, I want to be clear, because when I did a little bit of a deep dive on this, it does show that he served 3 years for this, but it was also reported by Don Sr. that at the time of the crime, Don Jr. was only 19 years old and that the girl was 18 months younger than him, constituting it more of a statutory claim rather than an SA claim. But
there you go.
To be clear, and we don't know the details
Welcome, Don.
of this yet, that would only be true if it was in fact consensual and non-violent. And we don't know the nature of the crime itself. So even though there is only that 18-month age difference and that spread, if it was a violent crime or non-consensual, that age wouldn't matter. If they were in a relationship, it was consensual. He was 19, she was 18 months younger, which would be, 17 and some change. It would become a statutory claim. So we don't know the severity of what really took place here, but it is important to note. It has also been said by some family members that Don Sr. himself has a history of SA on minors, but he has never been arrested for this, so there is no paper trail showing that this is in fact true. As of right now, it's just allegations. While none of these SA claims for John Sr. have been proven to be true, and we don't know the details of the claims around Don Jr. and what really took place, we do know that typically when SA occurs in a family, there is a pattern over generations. A good case to cite for reference of this is the Brittany Woods case. And if you haven't seen that, it's on my channel. You can go back and watch, but it demonstrates how it really is a systematic problem that continues over generations, and it's a learned behavior. So again, there's just something with all of this. It's just not sitting right, and it's tough because there is no concrete proof. It's all hearsay at the moment, and it's all allegations. And I hate to use the cliche phrase, where there's smoke, there's fire, but there's something here that just isn't sitting quite right.
Yeah,
As I mentioned,
they live a
at the
completely
beginning of this
different
video,
lifestyle than
this
anybody
family
else because
has
they're
many
in the middle of
layers.
nowhere.
So we now are going to rewind
And
a
poor.
little further and go back 12 years and look at some family history to see if that tells us anything. Because Summer is not the only person to go missing in this family. And I'm sure many of you have already heard that by now, but if you haven't, here you go. It is not the first time that something like this has happened in the family, unfortunately. Summer's maternal aunt, Rose Bly, has been missing since August of 2009, when she was 21 years old. Rose was also having marital issues. It's been confirmed that the police had been to her home for a domestic disturbance at least once before, and that violence had in fact occurred. Rose left her home that evening to meet a cousin at a bar about 5 miles away. Rose told her husband that she would be back before midnight, that she was only going 5 miles away, but she never made it to her destination. Rose's car was then
Yes,
found
this
5
little
days
girl is
later,
missing,
30
and we don't
miles
have
from her home.
any
Not the original 5 miles
credible
that was reported
information
she was supposed to go for this
that would
former
lead to
destination,
answers
but
as to
30
where
miles
she is.
away. Christopher Larson, Rose's then husband, passed a lie detector test and filed for divorce and custody 3 weeks after her disappearance. He was granted both the divorce and the custody of his children. Rose's case has not been solved, and she remains unfound to this day.
All right. I think I've heard enough of that. It's not starting here. Let me refresh this. Yeah, I didn't even see that Central Time. It was supposed to be at 4 in the first place. They didn't change that. They didn't even push it back. I just saw 3 p.m. and I didn't see that it said Central. So that is my fault, people. All right. Maybe where in the... There we go. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there. So here we go. All right, so we're just waiting on, I guess, them to start, but we are live with it, and we will be hearing from law enforcement shortly. think I heard her just say 1 minute. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, if they both pass lie detectors, unless they were lying about it, you know, that's always a possibility too. But I'm just, again, people, I am not ready to start raising eyebrows at these people for doing something to their own child, regardless of their lifestyle, regardless of how they conduct themselves, regardless of how clean or dirty they are. I'm not ready to do that.
Good afternoon. I'm Leslie Earhart with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. The status is the same as it was on Monday when we last held a media briefing. We're still trying to find Summer. It's now been 1 week and 2 days since she went missing. There's still two aspects of this case, the active search and the investigation. You'll hear more about the search in just a minute. T.B.I. agents and Hawkins County detectives working alongside the FBI continue to work around the clock to determine what happened to Summer Wells. In order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we can't discuss everything we're doing and have done to find Summer. Here's what we can tell you. Numerous residents and individuals associated with the family have been interviewed. Surveillance video and photos have been reviewed, as well as other potential digital evidence. We're still working to identify everyone in the area on the afternoon that Summer went missing. One of you asked us in a previous briefing the standard amount of time it takes for a case like this to be resolved. While every case is different, this one is definitely outside of the norm. Typically, in an investigation like this one, we have some idea of where the case is headed and what might have happened within a few days. In this situation, despite doing everything within our power and exploring all avenues, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear. I understand the lack of answers frustrates you in the public, but trust me, no one is more frustrated than we are. If we develop information that will lead to locating Summer, we will share that with you first and foremost. In the meantime, we ask anyone with information who hasn't come forward to please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. I'll turn it over to Sheriff Ronnie Lawson.
I love this guy.
Just to go along with Leslie, I know there's a lot of social media going on out there, a lot of detectives going on, but they're absolutely useless unless these people that's 100% positive calls 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Tell them.
It means nothing. We're monitoring all social media and everything that you all put out from people that you all interview. And I assure you, you'd have to work very hard to find somebody that we hadn't talked to. They may not tell you. One point I want to make clear up, obviously, is a couple of days ago, I asked for the public not to help us in our search in the woods and stuff. That is because we know where every searcher is, where every team is, and the captain and his staff, they're tracking everyone. So if we get the general public in the woods, we don't know about it, then they're going to get missed when they go home or don't go home. So it's going to be somebody else that we have to generate time and information and resources to find. What I did ask for, and I still need, is all the people in Upper Beach Creek, Hawkins and Sullivan County to search their property again and again. You got to look for a small child. You have to look for evidence of a small child's been. And if you got field cameras, if you got security cameras, we need you to check those again. Just keep checking them and checking them. We're trying to find every vehicle is in this holler they're living since we started this. And we also did a roadblock, which helped at the same time that she was reported missing, to see if we come in contact with somebody that's been working that we could see. Obviously, there's nothing came out of that, but it's just another tool that we've used to make this happen. So if the general public that lives in this area will go back and search their outbuildings, their barns, their hay fields. That's mowing season, so when they mow, they need to pay attention. And if you have a resident that cannot search their property themselves, if they'll call my office at 423-272-4848, I will send an officer to your residence to search your property for you. It's a cooperation that we must need, because I know some of the residents probably getting frustrated with seeing the officers, but as the captain will tell you, we've had very intense operations all week long for 9 days now, and we're not done yet, because like I told you from day one, it's about finding Summer. That's the number one goal here. Yep.
Thanks, Sheriff. As of June 24th, 2021, search and rescue efforts for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells continues. We have now utilized 106 agencies spanning from Tennessee, Ohio, Virginia, Alabama, Georgia,
106 agencies
assisting in these search efforts. Numerous specialized search and rescue groups with numerous canine teams have been represented from each of these agencies. To date, we have covered over 4.6 square miles, with that being over 3,000 acres being searched since Tuesday night when she was reported missing. The rugged mountainous terrain continues to cause problems. This has slowed search operations down in these areas, but please be rest assured, while incurring these conditions, we are still searching with an aggressive approach with extreme attention to detail. These terrains and conditions have exhausted crews both physically and mentally. We are still utilizing local and regional resources, but have had to call upon and utilize resources from Middle and West Tennessee, along with out-of-state resources, to bring a fresh set of eyes and rested bodies into the search operations. Search efforts will continue on a more specialized team basis throughout the rest of the week. Just because you may not see us in such a large presence, once again, rest assured, we are still out here searching for Summer Wells. We will continue to work with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, T.B.I, and FBI until we find Summer Wells. As mentioned before, as Sheriff here mentioned, please continue to search your personal property. Sullivan County, Hawkins County, mainly the Beach Creek community, and even if you branch a little bit further, please search. And I've been telling these searchers here the last several days, when you're looking for this property, you're not looking for an adult laying there. You're not looking for an adult hiding in the building. We're looking for a 5-year-old girl that weighed approximately 40 pounds. Somebody that size could wad up, could hide in an area that
that's smaller than a bag of dog food
or a folded up laptop could go. This is also the reason why we are exhausting all efforts. This terrain, as you can see behind us, guys, is only a small, very small percentage of what these guys day in and day out are going through. I've had multiple of my guys come up to me and tell me, Captain, I'll go to the end, but I'm tired. I'm physically and I'm mentally tired. We are all one team, and we will not quit until we find Summer Wells. Thank you.
We'll take a few questions.
Have you searched some of these areas over and over again numerous times in these fields and things like that?
Absolutely. Captain, can you answer that question?
Yes, so over these 4.6 square miles, and I'll kind of elaborate on some of these specialized teams. There's some of these areas, guys, we have covered 4, 5, and 6 times. And we have community members, media outlets reaching out going, well, we have neighbors saying you're covering the same ground. We are. New ground, same ground, different eyes, fresh bodies. Guys, one flat looking field, there's 100 places something could be hid, evidence, and or she could be hid. So yes, we have covered multiple ground multiple times, and we'll continue to do so.
Captain Coop, I know some award has been talked about. I know your agency, Churchill Rescue Squad, is apparently in charge of that. Can you give us some details on what a reward looks like right now?
Yes, so there has been some people that have reached out to our agency, reached out to T.B.I. and the Sheriff's Department about providing reward money for information leading up to the finding and or recovery of Summer Wells. At this time, I can confirm that that is correct and that our agency is working to get this account set up. Once this information is available, our agency will provide a media release with this information on how the general public, can also give money for this. But at the same point in time, guys, we're running on limited resources, and we're trying everything we can do that without interfering with the search for Summer Wells.
Leslie, at this point in the search and investigation, do you believe Summer Wells is still alive?
We hope so, but honestly, we just don't know. I mean, we're holding out hope, doing everything we can. Obviously, we typically would have found a child at this stage in the investigation. So honestly, we just don't know.
How many tips have been given?
I don't have the exact number with me, but it's well over 300 at this point.
I know we've all spoken with the family and they've talked about sort of what led up to that incident here. Can you just sort of elaborate on what you guys know for sure happened before she went missing that Tuesday night?
We can't release any more than what we've already provided. We know that she was supposedly with family members outside of her home, was seen going into the home. When her mother went to check on her, she was not in the house.
Sheriff, I know you mentioned before that you haven't had to obtain any search warrants. Is that still the case?
My office has not obtained any search warrants, and I really don't know if the other agencies has. I've been coordinating with the captain here and the investigators. They're all working together, and we haven't briefed each other this afternoon.
What about lie detector tests? Anybody been given those?
I think she can address this.
Well, it's no secret that the T.B.I. has a polygraph unit. We don't discuss specifics, but I can tell you that we use that as an investigative tool. In a situation like this, we're going to use every resource and tool available to us.
There's been billboards seen in Myrtle Beach. Are you guys aware of that? And has the search taken you guys even out of state to some extent?
We follow up on all leads that come in, even if they're out of state. We have received some tips from other states, but they didn't prove to be credible leads. We are aware of the billboards. That's not something the T.B.I. coordinates, but we appreciate the effort.
Leslie, are cadaver dogs being used as part of the K-9 teams being brought in?
Absolutely, yes.
No law enforcement outside of the house today. Any reason for that?
There's no reason. We have had agents and officers to just touch base with on a daily basis. So they were there earlier. The family continues to cooperate at this time. If we have questions, they answer our questions. If we need them to come to the command post to clarify some information, they respond. So they've been very cooperative.
Speaking of the command post, we have noticed some larger FBI presence as well, including like an FBI, I believe it's called a CART team. Could you just elaborate a little bit on their role in this investigation? What do they do?
They're just another resource available. I would refer you to the FBI for specifics on what that team does, but they specialize in missing children cases. And again, we're using all resources available. They've been here since last weekend, and we were in communication with them before last weekend. So it's just another resource, and we're grateful for any help we can get.
Leslie, now on day 10, do you guys feel like you have more information, better informed than you did on day 1 Tuesday night?
We don't. We still don't know where Summer is. We don't know what happened to her, and it's extremely frustrating. I can't tell you how heartbreaking it is. The sheriff has worked around the clock. His team's worked around the clock. The search crews, T.B.I. agents, FBI agents, we're doing everything we can to find her. But to not have any more answers than we do at this stage, it's just heartbreaking.
Have you been able to narrow down the timeline any more than when she was missing?
Not any more than what we originally released. We know that her family reported her missing. They called the sheriff's office around 6:30. Prior to that, it was early afternoon when she was last seen, and they searched for a little bit and then reported her missing.
How many hours would you say?
I don't have that information.
Question for Captain or Sheriff: what's the biggest obstacle standing in your way? Is it the heat? Is it just the fatigue? Is it the terrain? What do you think is the number one thing that's hurting you guys with this investigation?
To say hurting this investigation on my aspect of things, nothing's hurting us. We encounter difficult situations so far, and we overcome them situations. From here on out, it is going to be providing our team the rest and assurance to make sure that we can provide more and more fresh bodied, fresh eyes to be able to come in and help search for summer whales.
As far as my office, it's been pretty hard because my office don't stop. We're still answering calls, still doing investigations that come in, and we're still running the jail, but I'm alternating the officers out. And like's been said, everyone, the command post been there this week, everyone now is getting mentally and physically and emotionally just drained. And we're going to have to rehab and start back again, but we're not going to stop. We're going to find something.
Is there anything the community can do to help you guys at this point? I know that everyone's been bringing food and water and stuff like that. Is there anything else that you guys need?
Actually, I think they've done everything they possibly could. We've even getting fresh home cooked meals from churches and things brought in, and we have meals for all the officers and searchers and investigators, but enormous outpour of support shown by this community and actually people here in East Tennessee. We're very pleased.
Hey guys, thank you for coming out. I know a couple of you had questions asking why we are not having daily media briefings. The simple answer is we just haven't had any new information to provide. But just because we don't have a briefing doesn't mean that you can't reach out to us and ask any questions you may have. And of course, we are going to continue to post updates on Twitter and the T.B.I. Facebook page. And feel free to check with us if you have any additional questions or need clarification. Thank you. Take care.
All right, so yeah, Brianne too is saying investigators are obviously watching social media and they must see people questioning the polygraph results the parents are claiming. You might think they would say if they passed due to speculation. See, I was thinking the same thing. That's why I thought they would actually mention the polygraph as far as whether if they passed. I saw another comment earlier saying I understand them not saying if they failed, but if they passed, then so it's possible, maybe they failed it. I mean, that's possible. I don't know if that's the case. It's possible that they didn't even take a polygraph test. All she did was confirm that they used polygraphs in their investigations. That's all she confirmed. She didn't confirm whether or not anybody took one. So she certainly did not, confirm whether or not anybody passed or failed one. But she did make it a point to say that the parents were being extremely cooperative, answering any questions. She went into detail as to how cooperative they've been being, but she did not mention a polygraph. We'll just see. We'll just have to wait and see, and hopefully people will let up and not spin these narratives because it's just really frustrating to hear over and over and over again, because none of this stuff indicates that these people would do something to their child. None of it. I mean, so she bought, this is clearly people with poor judgment. I'll give them that. I'll clearly people who need to clean their house. I'll give them that. Sure. But to imply that they're capable of hurting their own children because they're slobs, let me see real quick. I mean, I just think that's irresponsible, man. I just think it's irresponsible. All right. Okay, sorry. All right, so I'm gonna end this, guys, and head over to Annie's chat because it looks like she's short on mods. She needs a little help. So, guys, head on over to 10 to Life, and I'll see you guys in that chat. Okay. Thanks for joining me, guys. I really appreciate all your great comments. For those of you who have supported and given to the PayPal or the Cash App or super chatted, I really, really appreciate it. And so maybe I'll come back on a little later. We'll see what happens. But anyways, we will do this again very soon, my friends.